Lots of people, especially modern day Christians, can be overly concerned with the end of times. If you've ever come across somebody who says that they know when the end of times is going to happen, usually in reference to Jesus talking about the end of the age, a lot of times you'll hear things like wars and rumors of wars, famines, things like that. Matthew 24:6, and you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Verse 7, for nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. A lot of people take these verses to go, oh no, when we see these things which we have seen so many times, even in my lifetime, they think Jesus is coming back. These are the things that he said will happen. These things will happen, that is true, but the second part of verse 6 is what is important. For this must take place, but the end is not yet. And I even remember hearing this as a kid when people would talk about the end times. There's going to be wars and famines and all sorts of tribulation all over the world, and then we should expect the return of Christ. But what does Jesus actually say about his return? What should we actually look for? Matthew 24:14, and this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. So after the gospel is proclaimed to all nations, what should we expect to see? Right here in verse 15, so when you see the abomination of desolation spoken by the prophet Daniel standing in the holy place, let the reader understand. So what are we actually on the lookout for? We should expect to see an abomination of desolation standing in the holy place. Daniel was talking about something that was in the temple, something that was replacing God. So what we should be on the lookout for is something that will be in the Israeli temple whenever it is rebuilt or reclaimed, something that is set up in the place of God that all the nations are being informed about, that this thing is the one true God. And this won't be hard to recognize. We as Christians should be able to look at whatever this thing is, whether it be a statue or a person or some other thing. We should be able to look at this and say, this is clearly not God, this is clearly not Jesus, because we are told how Jesus will return. He will come back reigning in glory, returning on the clouds, and the entire world will absolutely know it. There will be no question about when Jesus comes back. So for those that really want to know when these things will happen, or when we're getting closer is probably a better way to say that, Jesus tells us right here so that when we see something set up in the place of God, something that is set up by man, we can expect an imminent return of the Lord. And as an aside, I would say until that time, we don't need to worry about it. There will be wars, there will be famine, there will be hard times. But praise God that we can rely on Christ, knowing that our ultimate salvation is secure in Him regardless of whatever is happening in our world. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this end of time, and thanks for joining me.